Hello friends. Let us talk about the icons. I'm I'm very pretty sure that you know the meaning of icons, what icons are, and you might know the definition. So let us revise this once again. That icons are pictorial representations that are often used to represent the objects and action with which the user can interact with or they can manipulate. So icons may stand alone or a desktop or in a window or be grouped together in a toolbar. So let us see about the kinds of icons. So the use of icons to reflect objects, ideas and action is not new to mankind, and pictorial representations that they have played a prominent role in mankind history. So words writing, however, unleashed much more flexibility, richness in communications. So this has caused most skeptics to wonder why, after 2,500 years, to get rid of the icon shapes and so. So whatever we have today, like objects or actions, are depicted on screens by the icons. The term icon, however, is not specific and can actually represent very different things. So icons is something that looks like what it means. Index is that has caused by the thing to which it refers, and symbol is a sign that may be completely arbitrary in appearance. So a picture or a telephone or a clock on a screen is a true icon, and a index is a sign caused by the thing to which it refers. An open door with a broken window indicates that is a possible presence of a burglar. So the meaning of that index may or may not be clear depending upon the past experience. So a symbol is a sign that may be completely arbitrary in appearance and whose meaning must be learned. So menu and sizing icons on screens are the example of the symbols. Then we have influence on icon usability. That means they provide us the uh, that this is a characteristics of icons, and we'll rate the influences on icons usability. The first is that provide icons that are familiar, clear and legible, simple, consistent, direct. So let us see one by one. Familiar. Now, familiar is how familiar is the object being depicted. Familiarity will reduce the learning time. How familiar are commonly seen this icon? Lack of familiarity requires learning the icon's meaning. So it's like the temperature, the mouse, the directions, and so on. So next is clarity. So clarity is the icon eligible. Does the shape, structure, and formation technique on the screen permit a screen and homogeneous depiction of what it means? So screen resolution should be sufficiently fine to establish clearly difference of form at the normal work distance. Then you have a simplicity. Simple. So is the icon is simple, it is the shape clean and avoid of unnecessary other designs. Too many parts will confuse the screen viewer. Then next is consistent. So are families of icons structured in consistency in structure and shape? Are the similar icons displayed on different screen and consistent in shape and structure? So these are the questions that need to be answer. So these are the characteristics. Next is efficient. In such situations, a graphic screen may be less efficient, consuming more screen display than a word or requiring more physical actions by user than a text. So suppose raising an alarm or moving a mouse may be slower than simply typing. Then you have a discriminable. So the symbols chosen must be visually distinguishable from the other symbols. A person's power of differentiation or for a shapes and other forms of codes have been experimentally determined over the years. Then also consider the context in which the icons is used. So we have a context, like context of a symbol maybe change its meaning. So does the rabbit symbol means, or the road crossing symbol, what does that mean? Then you have the expectancies of users. The symbol may be comprehended, but the false conclusions may be reached about the desired action because of incorrect expectancy. And complexity of the task lastly is the more abstract or complex the symbol. So more difficult is to abstract or interpret its intended meaning. So it has been found that more concrete graphic messages are easier. Then you have next is of choosing the icon. So what features you will choose the icons. So choosing icon design is an important process. Meaningful and recognizable icon will speed learning and recall a yield a much more important effective system. And poor design will lead to errors, delays, and confusion. So a successful icons looking different from all other icons. So what it matters is the first thing is successful icon. So an icon must look different from all other icons, making it discriminable and differentiable. So what it does or represent must all be obvious so it's interpretable. Then the size. Mm, Okay, we finish with the successful icon. Next is the size. So the size of the icon is typically icons must be in three standard size like 16, 32, or 48 pixels square for clarity, or 16 to 16 should be icon's maximum size. Then you have the colors from the system palette. So Microsoft suggests that 256 colors may be used in size smaller than 48 into 48 pixels. So do so increases icon storage requirements and they not be displayable on the computer configuration. So if 256 colors are used for icons, they suggest that the standard 16 color format should be provided. Then you have next is the odd number of pixels. This odd number of pixels recommends using an odd number of pixels on each side of matrix. This provides center pixel around which to focus, thus simpling the design process. Then icon selection. For each selection, the following are the minimum icon sizes with a stylus pen or a pen 15 pixels square. Then hot zones. The hot zones is like icons hot zone, the area within it that allows to be selected should be large as possible, preferable the entire size of the icon. Then choosing icon image. You have the existing icons. So let us see about the existing icons. So many standard icons have already been developed for graphical systems. So use these system icons when they're available. They promote consistency across systems. Then next is about noun, not verb. An object or a noun is much easier to represent a pictorial than in an action or verb. So choose noun form for the icons. And traditional images. Use of traditional images like old-fashioned traditional images often work better than the new one. They have been around longer and more people recognize them. Then cultural and social norms. Consider user cultural and social norms in proper design of icons can create problem internationally. So social norms vary, so great variation exists what is recognizable and acceptable throughout the world. The next is the creating icon images. So the first is create familiar and concrete shapes. So let us see a ideally, an icon's meaning should be self-evident. It has enhanced what concrete shapes are provided than what it looks what they are. So keep in mind how familiarity in the eye is in the eye of the viewer, the one who will use this. The concrete images pictures may be familiar to us. So, but do not exist a tribal living in a remote area of the world where those objects do not exist. Similarly, on the road sign, for example, an angled red bar inscribed over the object means do not what is picturized beneath. So while abstract, it is very familiar shape today. If an abstract image was used, it should be capable of being learning. The next is visually and conceptually distinct shapes. So it must be easy to tell icons apart so the chances of confusing them are minimized. Differentiation is aided when icons are visually different from one another, and it also aided when icons are conceptually different in what they portray. So specific features on an object that is relatively unique within the entire set of objects. Next is like your file, folder, books. So these are concrete familiar shapes. So books, what does a telephone books like and how they are described in the icons. Next is simple reflect objects. Uh, did we finish the clearly reflect objects is represented. The characteristics of the display itself should permit drawing of adequate quality, poor form of fuzzy shapes will inhibit recognitions. Then simple reflect object is construct icon with a few graphical components as necessary, using no more than two or three if possible. So what happens, it concluded that the complex icon seems to clutter a screen. If there are too much of icons are used instead of text or images, it will clutter the place and it will create a confusion and it will lead to the error that we're unable to employ to their advantage. So too much detail inhibits rather than facilitates perceptions. So next is design as a set. Do we have the design clearly object simply create as a set, design as a set, or create as a set, one and the same. So do not design icons in isolation but as a family, considering the relationship to each other and user tasks. So when icons are the part of a related objects to create shape that visually communicate with those objects, then consistency in an icon type. uh, it is like first it depicts a before after representation of the action. Second, the action itself is being performed or the picture the tool to perform the action. So when a series of meaningful icons should be developed using each icon, the best approach would be use of one of this scheme. Then you have a proper emotional tone. The icon should be appropriately reflect the environment in which it is used. Next, you have a drawing icon images. So drawing icon images is like again we have the consistency word. So when drawing images, creating a consistency shape for identical icons or different sizing, preserving the general shapes or any distinctive details. Then you have a triangular arrows. So do not use triangular arrows in design to avoid confusion. So avoid using triangular graphic similar that is used as cascade symbol of menus or a drop down. See, this mean don't make use of the same meaning in the icon draw, or don't draw the icons like triangular arrow where they have the shown in the menus or in the buttons. If they have the same meaning, so it will like overlap the meanings and will create a lot of confusion. Then meaningful attributes. Again, I say don't repeat the icon designer icon name which has already been in your system, already been defined, because that will lead to a confusion. You want to say state something else, what you are stating in a different manner. The status of a document meaningful attribute is when an icon is used to express an attribute of an object. Do this meaningfully as possible. The status of a document of example might be represented by displaying its different shade. Then we have the scale and orientations. Ensure that the size and orientations are consistent with each other related objects and they should fit on the screen. And perspective and dimensions is using lighting and shadow to more accurately reflect the real world experience of the people. Then we have lastly the caption or label, because icon may not be used often. The ability to comprehend, learn, and recall on icons learning can be greatly improved by attaching a textual icon, captions, or label to them. Now, there can be some mysterious icon also. Mysterious icon with no caption or label to explain them, leading to user guessing names and many errors. So this should be avoided. So in this way, we've been okay. There's one more point left is icon, I mean animation and auditions. So icon animation says that research has explored the use of bringing to a life on screen the icons representing objects and action. So static icons appearance is unchanged over a period of time and changes only at the moment that the system event encounters. And a dynamic icon's movement is independent of a system event, changes appearance to represent function, process, states, and state transitions. Then, next is about the auditions. So, objects making sound as they touch, drag, bump each other, open, activated, and throw away. So, auditory icons are computer sounds replicating everyday sound producing events. So, when a printer is near printing, the sound of printing mechanism is heard. So, this provides auditory feedback, and a print operation is just about to start. An auditory icon should be the same sound generated by the computer. So it has a providing information like about previous and possible interactions, indicating ongoing process and modes useful for navigation and support the collaborations. Then, okay, so here next is about the icon design process. uh, uh, in the icons design process, we have defined the purpose. So what is the purpose we have? Why do we need? Why we are creating? So simple metaphors, analogies, or model with a minimal set of conceptual concepts are the best place to start with the developing icons. Then we have a collect, evaluate, and sketch ideas. That is starting by designing on paper, not by computer. So everyone has to sketch his or her idea. Draw in black and white paper. So many icons will be displayed in a monochrome, in a color pratic. So color is enhancing property. Text for expectation, recognitions, and learning. So choosing the objects and action and the icons to represent them is not a precise or process will not be easy. So it's an screen design activity. Adequate testing, possibly refinement of developed image must be built. Then we have tests for eligibility. Verify the legibility and clarity of the icons are general, but white or gray backgrounds may create difficulties. So always remember, when you choosing the design process, in what way you want to create your icons, you should understand these are the following guidelines that help you to draw the icon, make an icon. Don't make a so iconic thing. Just draw the icon. Draw the icon with the following guidelines what we I have explained you, and make sure that uh, it should not be collided, or it should not be the same as what others icons are. Don't try to copy it. Make your icon independent with the colors, and make sure that it should be fit on the screen. So register new icons in the system registry, like create and maintain a registry of all system icons, which provide a detailed and descriptive descriptions of all